alien abduction phenomenon has come under fierce attack recently. It's laughable, the skeptics insist, to believe that extraterrestrial visitors are taking humans against their will for a sinister purpose. But new abductees are coming forward all the time. They withstand the ridicule because for them, alien abduction is not a phenomenon. It's an objective reality. Three generations of one family enjoying a stroll after dinner on a warm summer evening. Playing ping pong. Sitting around the backyard laughing at dumb jokes. It's the good life in Roseville, California. When you're on the outside, looking in. But what you can't see on the surface is the bizarre secret that this family shares. A secret that will forever set them apart from their friends and neighbors.
When you have a family like ours, very open about it, it makes it easier to deal with the fears and the anxieties of finding out something like this.
Shannon Hernandez, her mother, Debbie McGill, and Shannon's 5-year-old son, Zachary, believe that they are being targeted by an extraterrestrial force. They are 3 generations of one family who claim to have been repeatedly abducted by alien life forms. It's a rare phenomenon researchers have named generational encounters.
The advantage of the whole family being contactees is that we can talk about it openly, so everybody's okay with it.
Generational encounters refers to a series of contacts between extraterrestrials and more than one member of a family, and more specifically, between different generations. Sometimes we see 3 or even 4 sequential generations who've experienced extraterrestrial contact.
Dr. Richard Boylin has done extensive study of the generational encounters phenomenon. He has reached the conclusion that far more cases exist than are actually reported.
I would say that certainly in half the cases where there's been contact by ETs over any period of time, there will be contact with, if the person has children, they may talk to their parent and find out the parent's been secretly harboring a contact experience in his or her own life. And of course, spousal contacts are very common.
Debbie McGill believes her first alien contact occurred in 1972 in Northern California. Her daughter Shannon has only recently uncovered memories of her own extraterrestrial encounters.
In late March, I had a dream that I was being pulled by 5, whatever they would call grays. They're typical gray ETs. I had them on my upper arm, lower arm, and I was being pulled. I woke up terrified, absolutely terrified. The light came in, bed shaking. It's kind of like it all happened at once. I opened my eyes, and up on my wall, I saw the face of an ET very clearly. For a couple of weeks, I was real scared of the dark. It was a real adjustment.
Shannon kept the frightening images to herself until her son Zachary came to her with stories that sounded hauntingly familiar.
One day he came up to me and told me about how the aliens landed in the backyard. He even showed me where they parked. There was a little fear at first for him, too. He was scared of the dark and things like that, and we had an open discussion about it.
He told his mother about the ETs coming, and they take him to play while Mom and Daddy sleep.
I'm telling the truth here. That's all. That's all I can say.
Based on my observations of him, he certainly seems to be a bright kid who's certainly above average for his age group in his poise and verbal skills. There seems to be a statistical trend with kids who've had ET contact that they seem to be at a performance level a bit above average, and you wouldn't expect that to hold true as much as it does if it was just a fluke.
To be pulled from bed by an unseen hand and carried away by a non-human form would seem a nightmare for most, but Shannon, Debbie, and Zachary report that the contact has been friendly. Because it has been a positive experience overall, Debbie and Shannon call themselves experiencers rather than abductees.
Abductee has a negative connotation to it. It means stolen.
I prefer to call myself an experiencer because they're not taking me unwillingly. I go quite willingly.
If you would track this pencil.
Her daughter's and grandson's experiences confirm what Debbie has felt for years. that her family has been the object of extraterrestrial scrutiny for a quarter of a century. The reason why is being explored through therapy.
Do you notice anything about you?
Pictures.
Do you know why you're seeing these pictures?
To learn.
This is about the future?
Yeah.
How far ahead? Way distant in the future?
Not way distant.
Pretty close in the future?
Next few years.
Based on the pictures, what would you say is coming up in the next few years?
Major changes. Geological changes.
So is there some kind of overall message you can take from this or lesson?
Yeah, not to worry. Things will be okay.
And why will things be okay if there's such major shifts?
Because it's all for the best.
Apocalyptic images conveyed through telepathy or mind control are a common theme among experiencers. And there are very specific images both mother and daughter remember being shown.
Did the ETs communicate with you while you were seeing these pictures?
Yes.
And what was the flavor of their communication? Any general
A sense
flavor?
of urgency.
Urgency.
But
Urgency
yet,
for what?
For me to understand something.
ETs give a variety of different kinds of messages, such things as earth changes, cataclysms, geological weather, epidemics, social unrest, wars have all been shown to experiencers.